Alright, we're recording. I'm just gonna do a quick sound test. Okay, I'm talking. Alright. Okay. Uh, Hopefully that was okay. Alright, so I'm gonna take you for a couple of laps around Mugello here. I'm gonna try to go um, relatively slowly in the first couple of laps. Um, I'm not the best here, admittedly. This is not one of my best tracks. Um, I did a couple of laps in the Ferrari. Didn't like it at all because I wanted to try to do a mid-engine for the track guide, but ultimately, just this is right now. This is the car that I've been driving the most, and it's just much better for me. In general, the front engine cars are the better cars in iRacing at this point in time. So if you can at all pick one to drive and somewhat like it, you're going to be better off. Now, don't pay attention to anything that I'm doing here. I'm simply just getting the tires up to temperature, as I will be for the first couple of laps. I can talk about a couple of braking points and stuff on the next lap. Uh, uh, this is one of those tracks where it is a track limits contest more than anything. So knowing where and how to abuse the curbs to your advantage is absolutely the number one important thing at this racetrack. The second thing is just going to be trying to carry speed and not overuse the brakes. Okay, so heading down into turn one, we're going to be looking for the 100 board. We're going to brake just before that, all the way down to second gear. Try to carry as much speed as we can through this one. It's not going to turn because some cold tires. Third gear right through here. Some people may be second. It's going to be hard for me to break it down really in depth without slowing down. So here we're down to third. We want to hop that first yellow curb. That's the only one that we want to hop on the whole track. Here, easy brake. Get the car to rotate. Here we want to try not to use any brake, just let it roll. Use the throttle. Good lift there to get it to rotate, and then we can throttle out. Access road braking point there. Down to second. Just for a second, I like to push it back to third before I accelerate. Can give it a dab on the brake to help it rotate. There you go. Right before the 50 board, we're going to go leave it in third for a long time. I can't quite decide if I want it second or third there. I think third is probably the move, but you can do second. Abuse the curbs. I even got an off track there, but you got to be careful. About halfway down, right before the 50, gonna go down to third. It's a really hard corner. You really want to try to wrap that as tight as you can. I found it helps me to do that, so I underdrive the corner. Let's see if I can get a couple of laps like kind of up to speed here. I did run a 45.4 before I started the stream. So good. Pick it up. Third gear. I much prefer doing track guides this way, just running a couple of laps instead of just recording my one best lap and then just putting it out there like I run that every time, because no one runs that every time unless they're an alien, which I am not. really important to just keep the flow going the best that you can. I found that cold tires mean a lot of track time. And this is a pretty smooth track, so I'm not sure if this would be a situation where you could perhaps pull some tire strategy. Maybe. Would depend on the track state, how worn in it is. No off track that time. Just try to keep as tight as I can to the curb. And then we're going to accelerate out. Like I said, this is not one of my better racetracks. It's really a track limits abuse fest. And there's not really a lot of passing zones. It's a fun track to drive. I don't know that it's a fun track to race necessarily. A little dab on the brake to get it to rotate there. This car is like night and day better than the Ferrari. At this track, I would assume that most mid-engines would fall under the same category. Usually, if the Ferrari is not great, neither are the rest of the mid-engines. Alright, we'll give it one more go here. I think I'm going to be in the 45s here if I don't muck this up too bad. Oh, I did. I messed it up. And you can just lose a gob of time there. I mean, just huge amounts of time. I'm going to be like a 46-1 maybe. Oh, 1, yeah. Solpec Dash doing a great job predicting my lap. Trying not to brake very hard. It's really deceiving. It's like you really want to slow down, but at the same time you don't really want to slow down. Oh man, like I said, I'm not one of my better tracks. I'm having a rough little session here. One thing that I see guys doing all the time is just yanking the car into the corner. The car needs time to respond. You can't just yank the wheel and expect it to turn on a dime. You gotta slow down, introduce the tire to the corner, and then you can turn the wheel over. If you just whip it in there like a bike, it's just not gonna turn. It's just gonna go straight. Let's see if I can get into the 45s. This is kind of making me mad. I could have got more on that. I feel like the BMW would probably be really, really good here. I know that the Aston is really good here. I've driven the Corvette here to a win before, but I'm not. That was a completely different build of iRacing, so I'm not sure how it would be now. Nice and early there. About halfway through between the 50 and the 100. Alright, so I think this will get us into the 45. It's going to be close. We're losing a lot of time here. And the track temp is going up, so keep saying one more lap. I really do want to run a good one. I'm also messing with my brake too, which is probably not optimal for recording right before you record a track guide. But here we are. Let me see if I can go back to make a little switcheroo here. Hang on a second. Alright, so I mean there's the track and how you run it is one thing, and then just getting your inputs and all that set right is just where that extra little bit comes from. And just doing things right. The sprint times were, according to VRS, are in the 44s. So if I can stay in the mid 45s, I think that'll be good for an endurance race. Usually about a second off is where I fall. When I'm comparing my endurance full fuel laps versus a sprint fuel. All right. Let's see if we can do a little better here. Okay, a little bit better lap that time. Just moved my brake stuff back to where it was before I started the video. So 45.6. I'd like to pick up maybe like 2 more tenths and get in the 45.4s. Really trying to put the thing on the nose. Oh. Oh, I went in there pretty hot that time. Oh. Gotta commit to the throttle there. There we go. It's right on the limit of what I can do there. All right, so 529, 45.5. That was after quite a few laps on that run. That was really like maybe 2 laps after I changed my stuff back to linear. So we'll go back and analyze some of the lap there. It wasn't my fastest, but if you do look at my laps, I was able to run a 7-lap run. My fastest was on lap 7 at 45.4, and then I pitted, and then I ran a couple of 46s, changed my brake here, and then I ran a 45.6 and a 45.5. So I would say that I'm relatively consistent around the mid 45s. I feel like I can run between 45.5 and 45.7 or 8 pretty consistently. I think for the vast majority of people out there, that's going to be fine. If you're an upper echelon type driver, you're 3,000 plus, you probably need to be a little bit closer. This is my first day driving this track, so in a while, and so um, I personally would have to find a little more pace than what I have right now for me to feel good about it. I'd like to get closer to the 45.2 to 45.5 range rather than where I'm at right now. But um, if you're watching this track guide and you're just way off, I think I'll be able to help. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look back at our lap. Okay, so see that was lap 16. Um, all right, so I'll go to the um, I'll go to the cockpit view. I always hate when they do the track guide from the chase cam because that's not what you see in the game. Although it's sometimes helpful to see like kind of where the car's placed, it's not really helpful when you're doing track guides because it's not what you see when you're driving. All right, so we're gonna head down. I'm gonna put it in slow mo, and we're just gonna take it in like 2 times speed. So, um, or half speed rather. We're gonna look for this 100 board, and we're gonna brake just before that, about right in here. I actually did a pretty good job braking where I wanted to here. I should have bailed out of the throttle a little earlier, but I'm still working on that part of my game. We'll play it forward, stay wide on the entry. I'm going to try to carry a lot of speed to the center. Down to second gear, we're going to pick up the throttle relatively early, and we're going to try to keep the car to the right or the middle right. Moving forward, try to get out towards the curb here. How do I go back forward? Miss these curbs in third gear. Try to keep it to the middle. You can dab the brake a little bit to get an extra bit of rotation. A lot of times I just don't hit the brake. I don't hit the gas. I just let it roll through here. Um, I try to dab it sometimes to get an extra rotation, but I'm not really great at it. So anyways, we'll carry on. Good exit there. Use the exit curb. Use all the entry curb here. We're going to go down to third gear. We're going to go over top of that yellow sausage curb there. It's the only one on the track that you want to hit. For whatever reason, doesn't upset the car. Going to go back to the right. Again, another dab on the brake here. Use all the exit curb. Don't hit the gravel. It will give you an off track. We'll head down to the next turn. This one, it's a little blind, but it's really important that you get this one right. You want to turn in relatively early for this one. You don't want to brake too hard. Get the car to nose in, and then you want to try to get the car up on the painted curb, the AstroTurf looking stuff. Don't clip the grass. It is a 1 second time penalty. If you can get this corner right, it will make the rest of these corners that you can see out up in front of us a lot easier, particularly this very next one. So we're going to exit sort of in the middle. You're going to cut the car back to the left, and the front engines have a much easier time with this particular change of direction at the current moment. This used to be a really tough corner for the front engines, and now for some reason they're really good through here. So we're going to try to get as much curb as we can without hitting the grass. Really playing with the throttle through here. Try to exit. You can take more curb than I did here. Just make sure that you can get the car safely back to the left side of the circuit. Up onto the curb here. Don't really like jumping over the painted curbs onto the red. It's kind of like this. So if you go onto the red part over here, it kind of upsets the car when you pull it back across. So um, try to keep the car on the actual red, white, and green curbs. We're going to turn in kind of with the white line here. Off the throttle, pick it up smooth. This car has a lot of grip through here, particularly. You can really be aggressive. Out onto the painted green, and then we're going to aggressive lift off the throttle. That's what's going to create that kind of snap rotation. And then once you feel the front grip up, you can hammer down. It is blind up over this corner, but once you sight it a couple times, it's not as scary as it looks. Up over the green, plenty of runoff there. We're looking for an access road. It's right here. If you can get on the binders right then, great. If not, the white box is the other thing. I tend to be able to pick up the white box over here a lot better than I can this, especially at nighttime, which I know we're not racing at night right now, but if we were. So when I see it kind of approaching here, about the time that I see it exit my view, because I have a really narrow 27-inch monitor. But as soon as I can see it about to exit my view, I get on the brakes. Again, not super hard. We want to trail off the brake towards the curb here. Don't hit the yellow sausage, but cut it as close as you can. Some people like to go to second. I like to keep it in third. And then nice lift, let the car roll, let the car do the work. Aggressive back to the throttle here. Use the exit curb. Okay, we're gonna keep on moving on here. Looking for the 50 board. I try to go just before it. As you can see, taking a lot of entry curb here. I'm kind of mixed on how if it actually helps me a whole lot, but this is what pretty much everybody does. We go up over this exit curb here. We're gonna get hard on the brakes, following the entry line here. I go down to second in this car. A lot of cars, third, I think, is probably better. even in this car in an endurance race, it may be better to keep it in third if you can stand it and it not be too tight, because of the fuel savings that you would get from not being in such a high gear. All right, so here we go. Exit. Try to exit as in the middle, sort of. You don't have to. You can get a little wider, and then get the car back. It's okay, but I try to exit in the middle. Right sides have to stay on the curbs here. Left sides have to stay on the curb here. This one, the left side one, is always harder for me to keep it on there. I don't know how much you actually save by cutting this really aggressively. On the second part of it, the first part I think you gain quite a bit. The second part, you can kind of straight line it and go out towards this curb, and I don't think it's going to hurt you a whole lot. Um, you're better off to do that than take the off track. All right, as we approach this last corner, this is probably the hardest corner on the circuit for me personally. There's a little 50 board here, and a 100 board. There's an orange barrel here, and then there's this sign. I wish this had something on it, but somewhere between this orange thing and this sign is where I would like to get to the brake. Um, I try to stay as wide as I can on the entry without getting in the marbles. Some people take it more narrow. I've seen it done 100 different ways. Um, the main thing is you have to stay to the inside of this corner. If you start floating out here, the car starts pushing, it's all over for you, and you're going to lose a ton of time. So just keep it pinned to the inside. Even if you have to wait a second on the throttle and give up a little bit of time in the center, I guess, it's better to do that than to get on it too early and push out wide, because pushing out wide, you're going to be 1x off track, off into the gravel potentially, and then if you do have to lift out of the throttle to keep from going off track, decent chance someone behind you is not paying attention and runs in the back of you. So try to let the car do the work. Use the brake to help turn it. Stay to the inside. Throttle up. Once you go to the throttle, be committed to it. You can get pretty wide out here. It'll let you. Um, just don't get too wide too early. I think you can go all the way to the green, or where the green ends before it'll ding you. Um, and then out here, of course, where the green is, you're safe as long as you don't hit the gravel. So we can take quite a bit of curb on the exit once we're past the red, white, and green painted curb. So once we're clear of that, we're not going to hit the white anymore. We can get out here. And then from this point on, it is just full throttle to the start finish line. Try to keep the car right in the middle most of the time. This does have a little bit of a funky curve to it. So if you're going to be looking down, messing with your settings of any kind, pit settings, the right side may be better for you to run down a little closer to here, because when you get up here, if you're looking down, it does kind of take a right turn. So that one's got me a couple times where I'm kind of messing around with stuff, and then I look up, or I'm not quite paying attention, and then the corner, the straightaway kind of gets me. Kind of pops out of nowhere. I know that's kind of embarrassing to admit, but it really does happen. So, uh, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's the lap guide around Mugello. That's a 45, 5:28 or 5:29 lap time. Um, there's a couple of 2.7s in here that have run some lap times in a Porsche, and their best time is a 46.163. Um, so I think for the vast majority of people, if you're somewhere between a 0 and 2,800 or so, I think this track guide will probably help you a lot. If you're higher than that, you probably know more than me. So, um, anyways, hopefully this has been helpful to you. Shout out to Solpec. I know I'm not saying that right. It's a French brand. They have some really sick wheels. Their dashboard is fantastic. If they had virtual LEDs, it would be even better. But they make a little dashboard that does have actual LEDs on it. So that's probably why they don't have virtual LEDs for their dashboard on SimHub. But it is really, really wonderful. Um, Shows you all the information that you'd ever need to know. Refuel, fuel laps that you have left, how much fuel you're using on average per lap. It has a couple of different modules. Tells me what time it is, and um, so I don't stay up till 3 in the morning. Tells me how much time's remaining in the session, all the information I need to know about the car, the TC, ABS, all that stuff. So I don't actually have to look at my dashboard in the car, except for the um, the lights to tell me when to shift. Um, uh, it's a really good dashboard. I have uh, I have no complaints about it. I think it's a great piece of equipment. Um, and if you don't use Lovely and you don't like DNR, I'd go to SOELPEC. Look under the support. They have a download for the dashboard there, along with their plugin for SimHub, and you can get this really nice looking dashboard. Um, and Yeah, I just think, and all the colors are customizable too, which I really like. So you can change the colors to whatever you want to, which I really like. There's also a night mode and a dark mode, so there's all kinds of customizability to it, which I really like. Apart from the functionality and being able to read it very easily, it's also very customizable, and I can make it look nice. So, all right, I think that's all for me. Thanks for tuning in. It's a nearly 33-minute video. So hopefully you learned a little bit, enjoyed watching me run a couple laps, and this didn't go on forever. So um, if you have any questions, please reach out in the comments. Um, and we'll see you soon for some IMSA racing on the Kick channel.